Live from the Big Apple to La La Land and across the universe, it's the late Joey Reynolds Show. Big J Sorensen, who are Joey's guests tonight?
Thanks, Shotgun Tom Kelly in L.A. Joey's got actor, author, Tony nominee Tony Roberts with his new memoir, Do You Know Me? The power pop band featuring Lefty, Zeke, Rocky, and Smokestack with their new single Love Can. The Weeklings with a new autobiography, The Joke Man, Bow to Stern, with foreword by Artie Lang, now in pre-sale. Jackie Martling, Broadway Showbuzz with Eddie Varley, author of the Untold Stories of Broadway book series. Jennifer Ashley Tepper, also nightclub singer Seth Sikes, Mouse international icon. The Real Kramer with a tribute to Professor Irwin Corey.
And now, here's Joey!
Swing, Joey, swing!
Burn, baby.
Joey Reynolds Show!
What a show!
That's ridiculous. We sit here and watch someone sing a theme song.
Well,
That's not very visual. We need some sort of a real great opening. Maybe have Lady Gaga jump off a building. What if she killed herself? What would that? Then we'd have to do another obituary.
True.
You know how many we've had on the show? Everyone. We're not live anymore. It was the late Joey Reynolds.
Right.
It was the late. Where are we gonna? The late Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Last week we had the late.
Oh, God, we had Bobby, the guy
You don't remember the show.
Yeah,
You don't remember any of the
I don't
show.
remember any
Who
of the
died
show.
last
A
week?
lot of people died.
Michael Imperioli was on the show
Right.
because
He didn't die, but...
No, but who died?
The guy in Pellegrino.
Of course you know.
His,
Frank Pellegrino. Okay,
right,
yeah.
right.
God, you don't remember nothing.
I don't.
You got that early Alzheimer's.
I
don't
must
you?
have it.
Well, you can get a good seat on the plane and get on real early.
Really?
Pre-board people
I
would
should do
like
that.
you. People think they were on before. They think they had a meal.
No, you can't fake that, can you?
No, you know, the Grammys are on. We were on opposite the Super Bowl last week.
Yes,
Now we're opposite
yeah.
the Grammys.
Right, so...
The Grammys this year is a little bit different. They have decided, you know, they're very liberal in Hollywood, and that's where it's all from. We're on KABC in
Yes,
LA. They all know about this stuff, you know. So they have, to accommodate the Grammys, they have opened these bathrooms in honor of the various artists. You know, they have the Elton John,
Right.
which is for the men.
Right.
And the
I'm sure about that.
Olivia Newton-John, which is for the women. Don't
Right.
ruin my joke. And also and they have the other. You just ruined it. I'm going to kill you.
I'm sorry.
They have
Try it again. Take two.
No, you can't. They're small. All right, now wait a minute. They have the
Elton John.
Bed Bath and Beyond Beyonce for the transgenders. You know, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to reach over there and choke you.
Okay, choke me then.
No, it's all right. It's okay. It wasn't that bad. But, you know, I was thinking about Willie Nelson. They're going to present him with probably a platinum roach clip. That'd be a good thing for this guy. Now, you know, there's a lot of going on with this music because you spent all your life as a disc jockey, 40 years.
Yeah, I know,
right?
yeah.
And you fed very well off of the industry.
Obviously.
And, you know, it's been good for you. It's made a lot of money for you. I was a disc jockey at one time.
You
know,
were, yes.
And I got rid of. When I was playing records, they used to say, "Gee, you talk too much." Then when I did a talk show, they say, "You're playing too much music."
Right.
How many times are we going to go through these same stories all the time?
You can't win.
No, you're
You're
not supposed to win.
No.
And the only place that we have any sanity on this show is that we don't take phone calls.
Right.
Because if I heard from that woman from Queens who thinks the Yankees ought to win, you know, when you do a talk show, people don't know this. You know, they're street folks. But when you do a talk show, you get the same calls.
Yeah.
Because they're chronics.
Right.
We call them chronics.
Right.
And there's a list. There was a hot list. There's a list when you win a contest on a radio station. You can't win but once a month.
It is
Remember
true.
that
Yeah,
list?
right. That
Because
works.
we had chronics. There were people who defied the system. They knew how to get through and how to win a contest.
Yeah.
And they were always on it. Because the radio was a place where we made the music that you're seeing on the Grammys, except for, you know, the dirtbag music that's on now. I don't know anybody on the Grammys except maybe I would say Lady Gaga, of
Adele.
course, and
Adele?
Adele. I would know. She's
Yeah.
eating her way to the top. And then the other one, that James, who's that little fat guy that does the Late Show again?
Oh, Corden.
Yeah. He does what we did at Niagara Falls when we got in a car when we were on Channel 7, or we were on WBZ TV in Buffalo.
Yes, we were.
And we we sat in the car in Niagara Falls and did karaoke.
That's right.
Remember that? Right through Niagara Falls.
Right through the
this
falls.
Is not,
Boom.
and this is way before he came on with that
He
thing.
almost pushed me over in a barrel, too. So
You know what it is? When you're first, you don't make any money.
No.
You got to be the second guy in. The first guy's that got the plow. I learned that in Buffalo.
Right.
You follow the plow.
Right.
You go in second, and then you got smooth sailing all the way through.
I always follow the plow.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
we had a big snowstorm here this
Yeah.
week in New York. I was not here. I was down in Florida. I was enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah.
And I had a good time down there. I mean, it's the drug capital of the world.
Dread?
Drug.
Dreaded.
And they do a lot of things differently there, for some reason, when I was in my drug period, and it ended a long time ago. Come on,
Yes,
don't
it
look at
did.
me.
No,
that way.
I know,
But
I
when
know.
I was in my drug period,
Yes.
I got sober, and then I worked on the drug station. I worked on WSHE.
Wow.
She was only rock and roll.
Yeah.
Now here I am. I got to tell you one story, and then we'll bring our first guest here. When we used to have Journey and Foreigner and Megadeth. All the big rock and roll groups that I didn't like early on
Right,
because
right.
I was not into that culture.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm out in front of the Rose Bowl
Yeah.
in Miami, and it was the Faith concert.
No, the Rose Bowl. You were in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Oh, is that what it
Yeah,
was?
the Rose Bowl's in L.A.
I don't know. I was in the toilet bowl, one of those bowls. Whatever it was, I was there. And,
Bong bowl.
And the guy, don't ruin my other
I'm
joke.
sorry.
I only have two. No, so I was at the Orange Bowl for the David Bowie concert, actually is what it was, the Spider Tour.
Right.
Glass Spider Tour.
Yes.
And I was out front handing out my flyers because we were giving away $10,000 to people who would listen to my morning show.
Nice.
And I'm handing out the flyers to all of these people. We got the van out there. You remember this time.
Sure.
FM station.
Oh, yeah, you always
rock
had a
and
van.
roll. And I'm handing these flyers out, and I'm being real cool, and I'm saying, I'm Joey, and listen to me tomorrow morning. So a guy comes by me, and he says, hey, man, like you're ruining my high. I knew I was in the wrong format.
Yeah. It was time to move on.
Yeah, it was Joey the Jock. It wasn't going to work. So John Chinegula, who owned the station, you know what he said to me, right?
What did he say?
He says, Goomba. He said, first of all, these are all rednecks down here, or old Jews that don't want to hear you. and the Latin community doesn't understand you anyway.
Right.
So get your ass up to New York where they want to hear you.
And that's what you did.
And that's what I did.
And that's how it all fell into place.
No, it hasn't ended yet.
Wow.
We're here, still here.
Yeah.
Now, I know you know this. This is for the listeners. You can put your headsets on.
All right.
We have a wonderful comic throughout my lifetime, Professor Irwin Corey, and he died this year. He was 100 years old.
102.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Kramer's voice. Hi, Kramer. How are you? Wait till you're introduced. We have a format here.
Oh,
Yeah. Hold on to your pantyhose.
And Jackie the Joke Man.
I didn't interrupt even though I knew you were inaccurate.
And then there's Frankie Hudak.
Oh, it's 100.2.
Now you guys were comics. Well, you are comics now, but I mean, you knew Irwin Corey for different reasons.
Well, in the Friars Club, of course.
Yeah. We got to turn your mic up a little bit. Can't it doesn't go any louder? Then he's going to come and use mine.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, good.
We did something together with Joey, with Corey, and Taxi TV.
We put TV in cabs.
Right.
We were the guys.
You're the first to do that.
That's right. And we hired 60 cabs and put the TV in there and got the taxi limo commission to give us permission, and we went ahead and opened a whole industry. So every time you get in a cab in New York, that started with us. So when I put that together, the first film, Kramer was on the first one too.
Yep.
And you were on it with Professor Irwin Corey. The lighting of the tree takes place in Rockefeller Center. We did the lighting. We did the
tree lighting and the menorah lighting.
The menorah lighting. We went to Rockefeller Center, and we did the lighting of the burning bush.
The burning bush.
Is what it
And
was.
Corey was doing his rant about
Yeah.
the meaning of Hanukkah.
And
that was
And
that
the
was-
taxi cab still smells like Corey.
Sure does.
It was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was great.
And you were a good part of it. You were.
Yeah, well, I was his translator. Remember, he was the meaning of Christmas. I mean, the meaning of Hanukkah, and he was doing this thing. And then I was in the bullhorn and in Lederhosen going, und struggles, und struggling die Sonne. And they went into the mountains and they got the Holy Grail. Und struggle, und struggle. That was that.
Jackie, we didn't have you on that thing.
I was just wondering if you had forgotten my number or just.
No, in those days you were still trying to get back with Howard. You know,
I was so my finger was sore from dialing.
and Mr. Kramer here, who is known as Kenny Kramer, you know, he's the guy that the whole show was based on. You know, Seinfeld should have been called Kramer. I don't know why the hell they call it Seinfeld.
That's right.
But Larry
I thought Seinfeld was based on Kramer.
Yeah, Larry David lived with Kenny, you know, for a long time.
Helen Keller knows that joke.
But I also lived with Kramer.
Helen Keller forgot that joke.
Yes. Kramer.
Joey says, they're selling the condo that I'm staying in, and I need a place. I got to get a place quick. I said, look, take a couple of weeks and look for a place and stay at my place while you're looking. 9 months later.
And then you had the chutzpah to call me and ask me to make a cheesecake and vacuum on the way home to my other place.
Yeah. Well, he was very good as a roommate. He would come home like at 5:30 in the morning, do all the dishes, vacuum.
Perfect roommate.
It's a good drug, isn't it?
But you know, Kramer always tells everybody, said I had to buy a place for him to get him the hell out of here. Remember that?
I said that.
You're funny. You're funny.
Communal. That's nice.
Now, what do we do about Erwin Corey? I mean, you know, he was a radical in a lot of ways, a socialist.
8 decades he smoked pot every day.
Yeah,
For
he was
8 decades.
an ounce a week right to the end.
But you know, I said to someone once when the Bill Cosby thing came up, Erwin was a big favorite of Hugh Hefner, and he did the Playboy clubs along with Gilbert Godfrey and Cosby, and there was one other, I forget who it was off the top of my head, but they were favorites. Robert Klein. They were all favorites of and they would do all the Playboy clubs at the time. And I said, if you want to know what Cosby was up to sexually, ask Erwin Corey, because if anybody knows, it's him. Of course, now he's gone. But you know, he was really smart about everything. And
Now, you're not insinuating that Cosby was with Corey sexually. You mean he just was a witness?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to clear that up.
We'll be back with more after these messages.
How do you do that and last to 102? You know, right?
Did you like Erwin?
I loved Erwin.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, he used to play the Village Vanguard when I was like 15, 16. And that was one of the places that they would serve me alcohol at the age of 15, you know. And I would see him like, every time he was there, I would go see him at least once or twice because they let the kid in, you know, who was a Corey fan. And I actually knew his act. I knew his babble, that nonsense. Furthermore, it is without doubt that it is intriguing that the information obtained at this time is without merit.
Great.
What was the question?
In this week's magazine, The Week, they have his obituary, and there's like a sentence, one of his sentences, and I read it 5 times and laughed every time. You know, it makes total sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just beautiful.
Well, you know, I've known him forever, and I'll tell you that my favorite thing with him when he was on the road, and I always was attracted to him because he was crazy. And he said, "What this world needs is a 50 megaton douche."
Are we on here?
Yes, we are.
It's my favorite joke that Erwin, that I remember for years, he used to say, in the words of a great man. What was his name? Oh, yes. In the words of a great man, Al Capone, who said you could get more done with a kind word and a gun than just a kind word.
So that's it. We wanted to mention that Erwin passed away, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful man and a great comic.
Oh, 102, what a run.
And Steve Allen found him.
Really?
A lot of people think it was someone else. It was Steve Allen that discovered
But
him.
Steve Allen wasn't born when Corey. Did you ever see his 8x10 from like 1938? He was an actor. He was an actor.
Well, then maybe he discovered Steve Allen.
No, he always had the
he
same
very
act.
well might have pulled him onto
Yeah, he
television.
put him on television.
you know.
Put him on TV.
I didn't mean
He put Lenny Bruce on, too, for his first television appearance.
See, very much like this show, we're all friends, you know, on occasion, and we each have our something to give. And in those days, Jack Parr would have his friends, Arthur Godfrey and his friends. They were all unknowns, and then they became known because they were all very good at what they did individually, like I'm trying to do here. And so I think what happened was when Steve Allen got on, he couldn't get a lot of that going, so he created the characters like Gordon Hathaway and Jose and what's his name? You know, the
Bill Dana, Louis Nye,
and they all did characters. But Corey was really a character.
Yeah, he was for real.
He was
he
the
didn't
world's,
have to be molded. He was, you know.
no, he's the world's foremost authority.
Perfect.
So Jackie, you got a book coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm very, very excited. Post Hill Press. It's not, you know, people say, why are you talking about it already? Because it's not being released till October 24th. But, you know, you find things out as you do them. I never did a book before. It's in pre-sale right now.
Oh, yeah?
If you go to JackieTheJokeman.com, if you just go to that website, boom, the Amazon page pops up, and you can pre-order it. So I'm already selling books, even though I haven't sold any books, you know. And
That's a
and
good
it's,
trick.
you know, it's funny because, you know, of course they wanted a real lot about the Howard Stern show, and I wanted to put some stuff about it. So I got a healthy amount of me and then a real healthy amount about the Howard Stern show, but I got so much stuff that I have enough to do volume 2 of the same thing, only different. You know, more me, more Stern show. And there's just so much, because once you start typing and thinking, you just, you know, it's just diarrhea of the head. And, but I passed around a lot of the stories, and everybody just, you know, really enjoys them, you know.
Well, Jackie,
Hopefully, knock on wood, who the hell knows? You know?
Jackie was the guy who did Fart Man. Was that you, or was that
No. I mean, we all did that, but that,
Yeah.
you know,
You did a lot of things.
did a lot of stuff.
You got him in a lot of trouble too.
Yeah, well, yeah. We got a lot. You know, it used to be, don't blame me, he wrote it, and don't blame me, he said it. It was so much. Yeah, it was so much fun. You know, and it's not like a tell-all book, because it's not to tell, because he talked about everything. Everybody knew everything, but it's from my point of view, and it's funny. You know, when a guy comes into, you know, the fart the national anthem and then has an accident, you know, that's going to be funny no matter who's telling it. It doesn't matter what side of the room you saw it from, you know what I mean?
Do we still have the Kramer reality tour?
We're on hiatus now. I like that word.
Everybody hates it.
Sounds like a hernia, doesn't it? But we start again April 1st. The tours will begin again. It's beginning its 21st year.
Why don't you go to the Soup Nazi?
We do. We
Oh,
stopped
you're
at
doing
the
that now?
Soup. Oh, yeah.
Does Al talk to you?
No, he does. He's living in Europe. He's a rich man
In
now.
South America with the Nazis.
It's a franchise now.
Do you remember how you used to get mad at me because he liked me?
Yeah.
Why did he like me?
Because he used to kiss up and bring his own bag.
I can see that.
Mr. Green.
I can see.
Mr. Green is here.
Al would give me extra fruit, and Kramer would get mad. All
But
right,
you know, he's such a character. For like 5 years, I brought my tour there every time, and they'd spend $500 in 15 minutes, you know, on soup. In 5 years, he never comped me a soup.
Not one.
Well, you could also say he was staying in character. You know, it's always a great cop-out, you know, like,
And when I would end the tour for the season, like around January, I say, Al, this is the last tour until, like, you know, next fall. I guess I won't see you again for the next 6 months. He goes, good.
So we got the original Kramer here, the Kramer reality tours. We got Jackie Martling. He's got his new book coming out. You can go to his site, which is
Jokeland. Well, I'm going to send people to JackieTheJokeman.com, because that's where you get the book. And I tweet a joke every day at 4:20 International Marijuana Time, and I'm up to 40,000 people. Of course, that's crazy, because a rap artist comes out and 14 seconds later he's got 25 million followers. But I got 40,000, but I earned them the hard way, you know.
well, you know, you also voted a lot.
Oh, sure.
And thank you, Frankie Hudak.
No problem, Joey.
It's
Love
always
you.
great to have you, Frank.
Love you.
So we're
And
gonna
we
take a
love
break.
your new studio. This is incredible.
Yes,
here. Look at this.
absolutely.
This is nice. This is ABC Studio. They own it.
Triple cast.
Yeah. We're just borrowing it.
Well, our own headphones, our own volume control.
Yes.
I know. This is pretty interesting.
Our own 14 seconds on the air.
Speaking of which,
We'll be right back.
this portion of the Late Joey Reynolds Show brought to you by Plainview Chocolate Works. Imagine your corporate logo and sweet Belgian chocolate. You know, the holidays coming, guys. Call 516-252-3855. Let them create a logo for you.
Today, I will help save a life.
Today, I will make a positive impact on my community.
Today, I will network for a cure.
Today, I will become a go-giver. Together, we will make a difference.
Our mission at pinktie.org is to bring the business community together to support organizations that have a direct impact on our community. Join a growing movement that will contribute $100,000 to local charities each quarter. Visit pinktie.org and join us in making a difference.
Yeah, and Larry David did do all those things with Kramer. We'll be right back.
Give the gift that gives back all year long. Let Plainview Chocolate Works create a delicious, unique, and irresistible custom-branded gift made of the finest quality Belgian chocolate. Plainview Chocolate Works takes your personalized gift to a sweet new dimension. Imagine your logo, business card, or sentiments as a custom edible creation, making a lasting impression on clients, family, and friends. Specializing in one-of-a-kind 3D chocolate sculptures, customized gift baskets for any profession or occasion, dipped to perfection platters, handmade truffles, and more. Let Plainview Chocolate Works showcase your brand or marketing message in the most creative way as you offer appreciation to clients and wow potential customers. Love chocolate charity and giving back to the Long Island community? 5% of your Plainview Chocolate Works gift purchases are donated back to pinktie.org, whose efforts support charitable organizations in our local community. Call 516-252-3855 today and visit pinktie.org to learn more about how your gift purchases are making a difference.
Sunday Night Live with the late Joey Reynolds Show. We're on 77 WABC New York, 790 KABC Los Angeles, and the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, we're on television also.
Yeah.
You go to SundayNightLive.com.
That's it.
Which you can see us. I think a lot of people know that I was on WOR on the network for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And we did the show from all over the world, just about. And one of the great places was to go to Estonia and Riga, which is, Tony Roberts is here. And his grandparents came from that area in the Baltics. And he wrote a book, which is called Do You Know Me? And ironically, that's what Jackie Mason says when he runs into you on the street. Do I know you? So Tony's grandparents come from there, and he was on a cruise and he saw the spot in Riga, which is Latvia. You know, it's on the way to St. Petersburg, which is all of that was Soviet. The Estonians hate the Russians. But on the top end, the Finnish hate the Russians. You know, they'd like them to have a Finnish.
They're right next to them.
Nobody likes the Russians because they're pushy, arrogant, and they lie. So we're still having that. It's called Brighton Beach. But, you know, seriously, when they were in the Baltics, you know, they couldn't wait to get rid of them. And now Estonia is where Skype was invented.
Was it?
A lot of people don't know that.
Didn't know that.
So there was great brain trust from that region, from people whom we have inherited.
Right.
Well, we didn't inherit Skype. Skype was sold to a British company. Now it's an English company. But you know, we really have had a lot of history with that region. So Tony's here, and you were there. And you had, and your grandparents are from that stock.
Well, my grandfather was from Riga, and he left when he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
With about $20 in his pocket, and got to Copenhagen, and then got on another ship and got to Ellis Island, and was put into isolation for 2 weeks because I think he had some kind of a disease that they had to get rid of before they would let him into the country officially. But his wife he met in the Bronx, but she was from Odessa, which was, of course, the southern part of Russia.
Yeah.
But he was from Riga. But I don't think he couldn't wait to get out.
And Jewish.
Yes.
And of course, you know, now today we have that little demonstration down at Battery Park in New York City for the Jews who are angry with the immigration laws, and that took place today. So you know, it's.
We live in turmoil times. We do.
Well, you know, another thing about Tony's. I mean, you should read his book. I'm just telling you a little bit about what I know from reading it. His father worked with Mayor LaGuardia as an intern in the early days, huh?
Yes, he was an intern at LaGuardia's office, and he asked him for a raise because it was costing his parents money to send him to work. And LaGuardia said, well, if you can't afford to come here, then maybe you shouldn't be here. And that was the end of my father's law career. But he didn't really want to be a lawyer anyway. He went into being an announcer and became quite successful on the radio, of course, in the 30s and 40s. Ken Roberts was his name, and he was the master of ceremonies for a great many successful radio programs and whatnot.
And then you came in?
Well, I got influenced because he took me to the broadcasts of all these programs, and I saw grown-ups standing around playing other people, cowboys and villains and sheriffs and everything you could think of. And for a kid, 8 years old, 10 years old, to see people acting out in front of little pieces of metal and pretending they were other people was completely winning to me. I was transfixed, and that's what made me really think that I wanted to do that.
And then there was Woody Allen.
Well, it came a lot later.
Yeah.
It came a lot later.
Well, that was amazing to have all of when he adopted you and you adopted him. You guys must have had a love affair for a long time.
You know, it's funny. He was so shy when I first met him. I was 25 years old, and I auditioned for a play he'd written for Broadway, and I had to audition 5 times because I'm a lousy auditioner. But David Merrick wanted me in the part. And I kept going back and auditioning again and again and again. And then finally one night, Woody Allen walked into my dressing room because I was in Barefoot in the Park. I had replaced Robert Redford.
Right.
And Woody came in.
Robert Klein.
No, Robert Redford. Robert
Klein.
No,
Robert Klein was in they're playing our song.
Yes, that was many years later. I replaced Robert Redford when I was 24 years old on Broadway, and I played Barefoot in the Park for 18 months on Broadway. It was a big hit. And I didn't meet Woody until the end of that run. And he walked into my room and he said, "Hey, well, you're marvelous." He said, "You're the man I'm looking for this character." He said, "But you're a terrible auditioner." I said, "I know that." So that was the beginning of our friendship. But he was so shy that we hardly spoke to each other for a year or two. And of course, he wasn't in that play, so he wasn't around to be familiar with. But a few years later, I was in Play It Again, Sam, and he was in that on Broadway, and we were in it together for about 10 months, and that's when we bonded because, you're doing 8 shows a week with somebody, you get to be familiar and friendly with them.
And Radio Days, which was later on.
Radio Days was a film which was several pictures later. But in between there was Annie Hall, of course, and Play It Again, Sam, and Hannah and Her Sisters, and Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy.
And then you got gray hair.
No, not yet. I still was young. I didn't have gray hair then. I have it now, but I didn't have it then.
You're great. You're a great star.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to have me.
And you're very modest.
Well,
Woody Allen used to be on all the talk shows in the early days. I mentioned Jack Parr earlier. He used to appear, and he was very. He would come from a different place, and he was quiet about it, but just really brilliant.
Yeah.
And he had a dry sense of humor, and then he carried it into the films. The thing that I liked about him, he made a great saying that I live with all of the time. He says, 90% of it is showing up.
Oh, yes, that's one of his famous remarks, yeah.
And I think that's the way it is in all fields.
Well, hanging around a lot of comedians, you're always aware that they're on. I was very influenced by Milton Berle. I worked with him when I was in my 20s in Vegas, and you knew when Milton walked into a room that he was on. And just as 99% of comedians and comics are on when they go into a room. And I never felt that way with Woody, and I don't think Woody has ever been on, except when he does his act, of course, when he's being paid to be on. But his manner, socially, is very quiet and very reserved and very unintentionally funny. But the little things that dribble out of the side of his mouth are worth writing down because they're so brilliant and they're so funny. But it never has that quality of being performed. It just seems to be born and comes out of his mouth. And then you say, I got to get a pencil, I got to get a piece of paper. This is the best thing I ever heard. I got to write this down.
He probably does all of that where he comes out is in the music. When he plays,
he does. Well, when he plays the music, he doesn't do any jokes. Right. He doesn't talk to the audience. They're like not there. No, he's got one of those minds that's functioning on 5 levels at the same time.
So do you?
No. Not at all. But thank you. You give me too much credit. No, he really. It's not necessarily a blessing. I think in many ways it's a curse, because his focus is flitting from one observation to another so quickly and making connections so bizarre and so fast that you want to say, my God, maybe you should lie down for a while, take a rest. Yeah. But rest is elusive, I think, ultimately.
We never met. I never met you. I certainly have seen your work 100 times.
Thank you, Joey.
But in the background, and I always admired you, and that's why I said what I did about you. And now, you know, and I read your book.
Well,
How about
thank
that?
you. Thank you
You know,
very
and
much.
most people don't read the books, and then they have the people on the show.
I'm shocked that you mentioned Riga and spoke about all of that, because I've been on a few other shows, but nobody ever mentions that.
Well,
anyway, thank you.
You got a great beginning. You know, I think it's all about the family. When you come down to it, in the end, it's our families, and that's where you're from.
Yes.
And you have that great stock. I mean, you know, you can't go wrong if you get if you're morally correct.
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a loving family, and I was, and then you're way ahead of the game.
And you're great. You're great.
Oh.
Thank you for entertaining me. I'll tell you personally, and everybody else can get in line and thank you and give you hickeys.
And he's got something else coming up. He's going to be in the new remake of Dirty Dancing as Max Kellerman. Yeah,
that's right, Max Kellerman. Yes, a part played originally by Jack Weston, who I did a television pilot with years ago that didn't really succeed, but we had a good time making it, and I get to play Jack in the remake of Dirty Dancing, which is on ABC, believe it or not.
Great. You know, our show here is sponsored by the Pink Tie organization, which is Pink Tie for Cancer. It's pink. It's called the Pink Tie-In now, so it's not just men, which is a tie. And Mike Cave, who has the Pink Tie organization with his brother Rich, they famously take ties and have celebrities sign them, and then they auction them off.
Oh, sure.
They even have a Trump tie, you know. It's a noose. But I wonder if you would sign one of these things. And,
as long as it's not a noose.
No.
Sign anything you want. You did say noose, not moose. Did you say you said noose?
No, I didn't say much. Tony Roberts, Do You Know Me? Do you know me?
Do you know me? That's the title of the book.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, a lot of people stop me on the street and they say, "Are you my cousin? You're my cousin. I know you. I knew you were in St. Louis." So I said, no. And then they say, well, then you're this guy. And I said, no, I'm not that guy. I'm this guy. So, I don't know, a friend of mine said, why don't you call the book Do You Know Me? And I thought my brilliant marketing scheme was to put my picture on the cover of the book, two pictures, one when I was 25 and one when I was 65, I guess.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea if you sell your book in a bookstore. But my book isn't sold in a bookstore. In order to buy my book, you have to go to Amazon.com and buy it direct through there. And,
well, that's not shabby. I mean, you know,
it's not shabby.
There's no Barnes & Noble anymore. Just about.
I hear they're coming back. Or Amazon is opening actual, physical bookstores. I think because, and if it was in a bookstore, listen to this, publishers. If it was in a bookstore, people would be coming in to buy it all the time because they would see my face, and then they would say, "Oh, I'm curious about that. I know who that guy is." Yeah, and I look at the name. But on Amazon.com, people don't go and browse. You know, they go to get something they want. So I have to rethink my marketing scheme.
No, my book is being sold at the mortuaries, entranceway next to where you sign in. It's the late Joey Reynolds. Thank you, Tony. Tony Roberts.
Thank you for having me here.
Wonderful.
It was a pleasure.
You're great.
Thank you, Joey.
The Late Joey Reynolds Show brought to you by Vape.com. That's V8PE.com. V8PE.com, where you'll find the best vaporizers, sweetest juices, and more. Join the Cloud Chasers at V8PE.com. Be a part of the high-paying, fast-paced real estate industry. Leap EDU makes it easier than ever. Announcing the new Leap EDU New York Real Estate License Pass and Pay program. Now it's easier than ever to become a New York real estate professional. Enroll today in the new Leap EDU exclusive Pass and Pay program. There is no money up front, no money at the end of the training. In fact, you owe nothing until you pass the real estate exam. There's no catch, no hidden fine print. Just huge opportunity. Be a part of the high-dollar New York real estate elite. Leap EDU offers the full 75 hours of training at no upfront cost to you. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get all the details, including class start dates and times at leapedu.com. That's leapedu.com or call 844-303-5327. Classes fill up quickly, so go now to leapedu.com. That's leapedu.com. You're on.
Oh, you know, we got those Mr. Pillows.
Yeah.
The Mr.
My
Pillow
Pillow,
guy
My
that got
Pillow.
My Pillow?
Yeah.
He got one for you.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, and he's got one for everybody who's regular on the show now.
Oh.
So I guess we're going to be hearing from him.
Okay.
Who else we got?
Social media is the marketing sensation. Every day there are over 1 billion likes and tweets around the world. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and others have taken over as the #1 form of communication. Take advantage of this phenomenon. Talk with TideInMedia.com about building a vital social marketing strategy. Go to TideInMedia.com. That's TideInMedia.com. They'll help you guide your business through social media, web development, and marketing. Building your brand and taking your business to the next level is what TideInMedia.com does. Many Tied In Media's clients have been featured on Fox News, People Magazine, MTV, and other top-tier networks. The most successful businesses are leveraging the internet. Follow in the footsteps of the late Joey Reynolds Show. Visit TideInMedia.com. That's TideInMedia.com. Call Tied In Media today, 844-373-8433, 844-373-8433, and tell them the late Joey Reynolds Show sent you.
Maybe I shouldn't be called that. Somebody from Hawaii called and thought I died. It was my mom.
Cloud Chasers, have you tried Liquid Clarity? Any one of their 5 original flavors? Liquid Clarity's unique flavors include chocolate, fruit flavors, and menthol too. They all will excite your taste for richness, and they're just as packed with technology. Every Liquid Clarity Premium e-liquid undergoes rigorous testing in their own CGMP facility to ensure the safest possible formulations. Liquid Clarity will leave you with clean lifestyle with Liquid Clarity's premium e-liquids. See the full line of Liquid Clarity at V8PE.com. That's V8PE.com. Here in the month of February, V8PE.com has the full line of Liquid Clarity on sale. Just $19.99 for the full-bodied rich flavor on Liquid Clarity offers. Get yours today at V8PE.com. That's Liquid Clarity Vaping e-liquid at V8PE.com.
All right, now Eddie
Listen
Varley's
on
here.
air or online. Plus, watch the Late Joey Reynolds Show right now with streaming video at SundayNightLive.com.
Now Eddie Varley's here. I don't know. Are we on the air? I always have to ask you that because I never.
We are on the air, and I don't know why we can't hear
I don't want to wear these things. I got these earbuds from Apple.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, I know.
They're still new. You never get the first generation of anything Apple.
Well, what they did was they pulled them off the market for a while.
Yes.
And then they upped the price. They revisited it.
No, Apple doing no.
Yeah. Of course, I went there today. I went to the Apple Genius Bar and told them how to do it.
Of course. Yeah.
Eddie Varley is a Broadway fan to begin with, and
Sure.
a friend, of course, and also an actor. And he's had a lot of television and radio interview experience with the Broadway scene, especially.
Yes, yes.
And we've had Eddie on before, but tonight he brought somebody with him. It's Jennifer Ashley Tepper.
Yes.
Right? And
Hello,
she's
such a
sitting
pleasure to be here.
She's a director of programming at Feinstein's. Now, Feinstein's used to be at a hotel on Park Avenue in New York, and then they got out of that hotel because the guy died who owned it.
Yeah, and they joined 54 Below. Right? Well, you could probably know how that marriage came, right?
Yeah, so 54 Below opened about 5 years ago, and I'm the programming director there. And about a year ago, we joined with Michael Feinstein, to make the venue Feinstein/54 Below.
Yeah, now 54 Below was built by a guy who decided that he was going to get in the nightclub business, did a wonderful job of decorating and making it probably the best nightclub in New York.
Oh,
I
I'm
would
glad you
say.
think so.
Yeah.
I do think
It's
so.
it's the best spot, and it's also acoustically how it was created. It's the best sound system I think you could find anywhere in the city.
And it's in a basement.
The basement of Studio 54.
Which is where we used to always get late. I mean, where we always got lame. Well, excuse me.
You spent your time at Studio 54, right? A few times?
Well, yeah, there was a drug place.
There you go.
It was better than Dwayne Reed. a little more expensive.
Well, I don't know. Now the prices are up.
Yeah. Well, there's no place in Florida that has a basement because there's a water table.
Yeah. You've got your great rooms.
Yeah.
Since I'm from Florida, I didn't even know what a basement was. I was amazed the first time I saw a basement.
Well, here in New York, most things take place downstairs. I lived in a place. I had a townhouse, and downstairs was even more exciting than the upstairs.
Yeah.
But, because you felt like you were getting away with something.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well,
Even the great restaurants, they have a downstairs room. What are we doing here? Everybody's moving around. Will you all just sit down for a minute and calm down and stop waving your hands and let's do a radio show?
This is the magic.
Jay, why are you waving your hands all the time?
I haven't waved my hands at anybody.
You were doing it. I thought I'm going to put you outside with the traffic. Now, Seth is here. Do you know Seth Sikes?
He's amazing. He's one of the best, brightest young cabaret singers in the city, and he's going to be at
Agreed.
54 Below.
Yes.
Are they paying him, or is he just going to do waiting? Yeah, you're not waiting there, are you? Are you a waiter? Or
A waiter? No, I might as well be.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. We never met before, and this is going to be your virgin experience with me. And we have a lot of people on the show all the time who are very good and not known especially to be A-listers. But on this show, anybody who's on the show is an A-lister. Because I think I look for people who are interesting and have great talent. And I mentioned earlier with the crowd that was here earlier about Arthur Godfrey. You used to have Arthur Godfrey and his friends. I mean, you're much too young to know who he is. But I'm just assuming you don't know who he is.
No, I don't.
But he was the biggest star in radio and television, both, when it began on CBS. He was the first moneymaker they had, even before Jackie Gleason and Sullivan. It was Arthur Godfrey and his friends. And his friends, every one of them became famous. Even Archie Blyer, who did the first Family album, with Von Meter. That album sold so many records that right after that thing was done, Archie Blyer quit Arthur Godfrey's show and quit the record business and went home with his millions of dollars. It was such a big hit. Wow. It was about the Kennedys. And it was funny, very, very funny. So anyway, I try to create that here, and you're one of the newcomers here. That's why I'm saying all this to you. So, I want you to be like Julius LaRosa was.
Yeah, but don't get fired, though.
No. He fired him on the air because he started running around with one of the McGuire sisters while he was having an affair. But that's a whole other story. But, it's nice to have you, and I understand that you are just great, and I can't wait to see you work.
Well, I can't wait to have you.
So when are we going to do that?
I'm doing a show at Feinstein's 54 Below, where Jen booked me and books me all the time on February 25th, and I'll be singing the music of Bernadette Peters.
Oh, I love her. I think she's great.
Isn't she great?
She's done every show. She did Gypsy too.
Yes,
I saw
she did.
The last one I
did.
saw her.
We have a quick sample of his singing.
Okay, let's hear a little bit of it. This is Seth Sikes.
I'm just a Broadway baby, walking off my tired feet. Found a 42nd Street to be a show. Broadway baby, learning how to sing and dance, waiting for my one big chance to be a show.
You know what they do? You know what they do wrong, Eddie. You can address this. You know, when they show you on television a Broadway show, you always get that way in the background sound.
Yeah.
They don't mic it like when you're seeing something live. First of all, theater is exciting.
Yes.
And I want to hear you sing live, not something way in the background with an echo from the room.
No, yeah, totally, absolutely.
You can't even get a good. I would not even play it because I know that you're terrific. Otherwise, you wouldn't be working at Feinstein's. They're very fussy. It's Fussy Steins.
Well, I think the thing about both Jennifer and Seth. And Seth had many acclaimed shows there where he sang the music of Judy Garland, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and rave reviews. But it's also what Jennifer does is she came there and she books the biggest and also the freshest. And I think that's a throwback to, what Broadway really was, which is these original talents doing live theater. Like you said, Joey, you cannot have the replicated experience of seeing a show live. And we were talking about that out front. And what Seth does, he doesn't just do it at a piano, have a company. He has a big band behind him, and he does a real show. It's fantastic.
Well, you also have good taste, Eddie.
Well,
you don't hang around with Slum.
A few people.
When I first met you, it was with Michael Crawford.
Yes.
At that time, he was Phantom, and then he did other things.
Dance of the Vampires, which was big.
And $1 million a week at MGM in Las Vegas.
Doesn't hurt. He deserved it, Mr. Crawford.
Sure. Who's there now is Cher. Cher is
Yeah.
And she's working alone, without. I think she comes out there and does a cappella, just sings one song. and goes home.
I'd pay. I think we don't pay a cappella for Cher, right?
No, you're a very good Broadway baby.
Well, I love, I think we all, I loved it when I was younger, still living in Philly, and growing up with Andrea McCardle and having it on sort of in the distance. And that's how I met there in the distance over there is our friend Scott Gornstein, Scotty, who loved theater. And people informed me about what mattered. And that's what, these guys do. He's singing the way the real legends sang. And she, with, her love of the history of Broadway and all her amazing books that you should have her talk about. That's the magic of it. That's what I love. Because Broadway, you said it, Joey, it's a experience you could only experience live that night. Every night is opening night if you put your heart and soul into it. That's how I believe about theater. And
well, I was invited to see Beautiful with our friend Jimmy.
Sure. Jimmy Lambert, the wonderful.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'll tell you this much, that they wanted to give me an obstructed view seat. So that's enough. They don't have that at Feinstein, see?
No. And we do.
You can sit in the men's room and see you.
That's always the goal. We have like 16 shows every week, and it's all different stuff. It's Broadway stars, it's emerging artists, it's musicals and concert, Broadway casts coming to sing songs. So it's a huge variety of artists.
I saw a list online of all the shows you have, and how many?
There are about 500 coming up at any given time.
It looked like 30,000.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's always something every night, and when you see Seth, you're on February 24th?
25th.
25th, yeah. And it's great. And, you go down those stairs, and you just have, it's as grand as a Broadway palace, but the shows are fantastic.
Well, thanks, you guys, for being here. Jennifer Ashley Tepper, you can go online and see her books. You got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And also Eddie Varley, who is always welcome here.
We're working on something. We're working on a website.
And Seth
This
Sikes.
is Broadway.
Yes. When are you on, Seth? When do we see you next?
February 25th, 9:30 p.m.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
Okay, we'll be right back.
This portion of the Late Joey Reynolds Show brought to you by Leap EDU. Leap EDU is where real estate professionals and those who wish to be a real estate professional go to training and continuing education. Be a part of the high-dollar real estate world. Find out more at leapedu.com. Are you in debt? Can't make your monthly bills? Are you making your payments but the balances aren't going down? Bankruptcy might be right for you. Don't be fooled by debt consolidation. The process is expensive and can take as long as 5 years. Debt consolidation is a business. Bankruptcy is the law. Go now to nybankruptcy.com. Schedule a free consultation with a duly licensed attorney. Don't put your financial life on freeze for 5 years. Start rebuilding your credit in as little as 90 days. Debt settlement? Most people can't settle their debt because they don't have the money. Bankruptcy is your fresh start. Go now to nybankruptcy.com to schedule your free consultation. Your financial life will be reviewed by a duly licensed New York attorney. Each case must be reviewed, and there are rules that apply. Not all debt is dischargeable. Not all people will qualify. Bankruptcy is not the end. Bankruptcy is the beginning. Visit nybankruptcy.com today.
Do I know you?
Yeah, you do. Just in time for Valentine's Day, the8pe.com, the nation's leading website for vaping and cloud chasers everywhere, is proud to offer a brand new eye care and liquid clarity welcome to vaping package. Everything you need: a black eye care starter kit by eLeaf and a bottle of the best tasting juice available, liquid clarity, a $40 value, all just $29. But that's not all. If you go right now to the8pe.com and enter promo code ICARE at checkout, the shipping is free too. That's the8pe.com for everything vaping, including iCare Liquid Clarity Starter Kit for just $29 with free shipping when you use the promo code ICARE. Supplies are limited, so do this now. Help a loved one to quit smoking. Go to the8pe.com. Use promo code ICARE and get your $40 starter kit for just $29. the8pe.com.
You found a true variety show with Sunday Night Live, audio and video. It's the Late Joey Reynolds Show.
And you can get us on, what's the site that we go to?
SundayNightLive.com. Watch the video.
Are there people actually watching the
Yes,
show?
there are.
How do you
now.
know? How can you tell?
Because I can feel it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you're very psychic.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, Seth Sikes was just here. He channels Judy Garland.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know now who you channel.
Who?
I'm going to tell you off the air.
All right, tell me later. We have somebody in here who's channeling the Beatles big time, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you trying to lead me into something? You are
Yes.
such a
I'm such a
time
dope.
freak.
All right,
Will you
forget
stop it?
I'll just leave.
Stop. You're waving your hands like a traffic cop and trying to move things along. You're like a program director at a radio station.
Well, yeah.
That's irrelevant.
Somebody's got to.
Nobody does that anymore.
Fine.
All right, now we have a group here tonight that, have you ever heard their music?
Yes, I have, as a matter of
Who
fact.
are they?
This is the Weeklings. The Weeklings.
What a name. When you
Yes.
give yourself a name like that.
Weeklings.
Heard
Stay
that
away
before.
from don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's where we met.
Oh, really? So who are the Weeklings?
Well, there's 4 of us. One of us is sick tonight, but this is Smokestack Weekling. I'm Lefty Weekling, and this is Zeke Weekling.
Oh,
And
so you're the Weekling brothers.
we are the Weekling brothers, sort of.
Well, no,
With
well,
different
You didn't think we
moms.
made that up, did you?
Yeah.
well, I thought the Righteous Brothers were righteous, but then I found out they're not. So, they make their appearance on the stage from separate ends of the stage. They don't even speak to each other. Well, they weren't for a while.
Yeah.
Same with the Everly Brothers. You know, you guys talking to each other?
We do.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Do you have any hits? Because it's Grammy night, you know.
Yeah, we
don't
do.
have- we
do. We have Coolest Song of the Year on XM Sirius Radio, our song Little Elvis in 2016. And the year before, we had Coolest Song that year, too, was You Know What to Do on our first record.
Yeah, we've been voted by listeners and stuff of different stations to be the coolest song of the year. So I guess that makes us
great.
cool.
And they have a new song, which is fantastic.
All right. Do we get to hear it?
We do, right
Or
now.
is there any payola involved?
No, I don't think so.
We can see our lives in the days ahead. Will we burn so bright or fade away instead? No, nobody can say what will happen tonight when you take my hand. Love
That's good.
So we got Lefty and Zeke and Rocky and Smokestack.
Yeah, where's Smokestack? Who's Smokestack?
Where's Ringo?
All right, yeah.
Ringo's missing tonight.
Yeah, we're
No,
missing
that's
one.
Smokestack is.
He's the drummer, so that gives
Smokestack
him
is a drummer's name.
You know what I love about that is you're channeling the traveling Wilburys with the names that they have.
I'm still
Yeah.
working on channeling Judy Garland. You guys are, and I was thinking of you as being one of the midgets. That's what I was thinking.
I am one of
I don't
them.
want to say it. But
Yes, they brought me up here.
yeah. All right. So you guys are a hit with people my age because that's our music.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hate to separate by demographic, but you know, you got to somewhere along the line you have to have a definition. And there's some people doing the Fab Four. You've seen them, right?
Yes.
And there are Beatle imitations. And Sid Bernstein was one of my best friends. If you wave your hands again, I'm going to go over there.
No,
and
I'm
fight.
just pointing. That's
Stop. So the Sid Bernstein had brought the Beatles here, and he got $5 a seat at Shea Stadium. He made no money.
Yeah.
But you guys are not the Beatles. I mean, you're not trying to be the Beatles. You just have a
No,
wonderful
but
sound.
we are very influenced by them. We decided we wanted to record our second album, this new one out now.
Which is called what? What's it called?
Studio 2, it's called, and we recorded it in Abbey Road, Studio 2, where the Beatles recorded most of their music.
George Martin.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Beatles Love Show in
Yeah,
Las Vegas?
absolutely. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And Cirque du Soleil is, of course, you know, all that beautiful music. And my
Amazing.
favorite is Yesterday, which is a beautiful
Absolutely.
ballet. It's a ballet, you know. But that's a great show. I see it every year when I go to the Consumer Electronics Show. I make it a point to go there. Peter Wheatfall and I have a regular date every year.
Nice.
He was the guy who put Samsung on the map.
Ah.
So we go every. It's just such a great show because it's George Martin remastered all of the music. Have you worked with him at all?
No,
not yet.
We've played.
But he's passed away, so we probably won't.
Yeah, really. His son, maybe.
His son.
Yeah, well, now,
His son,
but
yeah.
back then when you
No,
were
we
Back
did
then,
not.
no. I've met Paul McCartney. He's played music with Paul McCartney.
Wow.
And I've subbed in the Fab Four as well. And we're rock and roll veterans that got together and said, let's make music like it was the early '60s again. And so that's kind of our project.
Well, we go back to that moment in 1964 when we were all glued to the TV set on the Ed Sullivan Show, and that kind of formed the basis for our lives, actually, and we're just taking that to the nth degree.
Yeah, well, I'm
Our
sorry.
new CD consists
called
of
what?
8 original songs
and 4 of the songs are very obscure Beatles songs that were never really recorded before.
Well, I'm sorry that we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
This is a short form radio show. So I mean,
I know. Jackie told me you only got 14 seconds. She said.
Well, that's because of Jackie. You guys got 5 minutes out of
He
it.
said he wanted a shout out too, and you just gave it to him.
Where do we see the Weeklings?
Cutting room.
Besides the White House.
Cutting room in New York City on February 16th and February 23rd. We're doing a residency at Cutting Room on 33rd Street. So take the train up and walk over and join us on Thursday night.
And you got to give your website so we can buy your albums.
www.weeklings.com. But I want to make sure everybody know it's WEEKLINGS.
Yeah.
Like the
thank you.
days of the week.
So.
And I really appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for your patience, and the Weeklings are great. We've been looking forward to having you here, trying to book you so many times.
Appreciate it.
And now I'm going to take that record that you gave me and taking it home free.
Awesome.
Like all good disc jockeys.
Yeah.
And where's the money to play it? Well, smile, beer, umbrella. Don't get a mouthful of rain.
We have some cannolis outside there.